phenomenal in the twos environment. It keeps you safe, it keeps you comfortable, and it makes sure that you do not have somebody who overextends often. Well, we're going to see exactly how that plays out here in game number 1, a winner semis of Hysen and Simple versus Koko and Spyrox.
Now, Simple coming into this one, we've seen his Olgrim now today, which is a little bit of a surprise. I'm going to be looking at his character levels with a bunch of different characters, because this isn't what we're used to. We're used to the Bodvar, of course, kind of falling out of style. If we look at Olgrim, like, it's down there. I got to scroll to find it. Ajax, are you kidding me? It's level 39.
I'm watching. He had to go very far down that bar to find that. But I think that the bar's kind of been set for this new series of twos teams. I mean, Lance has always been strong. Axe is always going to be a pick. We're seeing way more people start to transition over to using things like Orion, Olgrim, and Bryn just to have that big diversity range of solid characters in twos, and some of the Bodvars have been more inclined to go to Spear. This one, however, being on the Olgrim pick.
Yeah, this is something that Zip and I were talking about last night, is Olgrim it seems like kind of the new Bryn. Now, Olgrim's been here for a minute, talking about a lot of Olgrim in South America, a lot of Olgrim in EU as well, but now we're seeing people move off of the hammer, away from some of the other weapons that have fallen out of style, and Olgrim is a good pickup for that. Olgrim's like the new workhorse. D-Light side air, great follow-up from Spyrox. That is going to be the full blue team wipe. And France is starting this one off really strong. They are pretty damaged. Oh, Spyrox putting out some pressure. And then in comes Koko, the immediate follow-ups. We are barely into this game, much less this set, and we're already seeing hard follow-ups coming up off of the red team.
Oh, just clocking in 9 to 5 simple play, sending them right over into D-Light side air, and then following up right after that. Even starting off the new stock fresh with the fully charged D-Sig. Just like, oh, go ahead, try and hit me. I think that we're seeing a lot of confidence out of Koko and Spyrox, and Spyrox does exit the building. You have to be careful with how comfortable you get in front of Hysen and Simple, though. I mean, obviously, yeah, just had that big upset, but these are two big threats, and I think that early leads like that don't really mess with their mental this early on.
I would definitely agree with you on that. What a beautiful signature coming out from Spyrox. Turns it around, almost grabbed the GC neutral signature there as well. So, man, the follow-ups already coming out from this red team does bode extremely well for how the rest of this set could go for them. It feels like they're two waiters, and they clock in at the same time, and they kind of take care of each other's tables, so nothing falls through the cracks. Their follow-ups have been fantastic.
Spyrox has been pretty upset with Simple's tips, apparently, because he has been absolutely focused on Simple and winning a majority of that. Spyrox has been handling them very well, and on the other side of that token, too, Hysen is going to at least finally be able to take out Koko, but Hysen had to work for it. Hysen was also getting a lot of damage put on and finally shut it down.
Now, if we're looking at the stocks here, it is 3 stocks to 3, but Spyrox being on second stock in orange is in a much better spot than Hysen, who's extremely red and now taken out, put on final stock. Spyrox still in the orange about halfway through this stock. Nice down air. Simple is going to disengage for a second before going back in, making sure that he has the ability to go back in safely before really committing to that, rather than just tunnel visioning and putting himself in a bad spot, which then puts his team in a bad spot.
Yeah, a lot of target shift has also gone over to Spyrox now, too. You see the way they have been lining up to try and get him still not falling off the top. They need to get rid of that soon. That's going to be a D-Light here that's going to send them off. That's going to allow them a quick double up, and instantly covered by Hysen. Great reaction knowing that he was going to try and burst in.
Spyrox thought he could turn around and then just go in on Hysen for free. Wasn't playing safe there, and Hysen immediately took advantage of that. Got a huge punish on it as well.
Right now, everybody separated, but Simple is in the worst position. But we've talked about this before. Simple's defense has always been a very good factor in this position. That being said, though, he's getting set deep. That's going to allow them to double jump onto Hysen. He's not going to make that back. Hysen now has to fight the 2v1 here.
This is going to be scary. Sticking with the lance for Koko. Not really relieving any of the pressure onto Spyrox while Hysen was chasing into the sky. Maybe Koko just wanted to be there, trusted his teammate, and really wanted to be there to punish any possible landing from Hysen. We're seeing a lot of movement coming around from Hysen. It seems like he's totally focused on Spyrox, which makes sense because Spyrox is really kind of the most damaged. I don't know exactly between Koko and Spyrox, but it seemed like all eyes were on Spyrox and attempting to take him out and forcing the 1v1 of Hysen versus Koko.
I mean, if I'm Hysen, I'm doing everything I can to stay off the ground as well, because the reason why Spyrox and Koko got even to this position, they closed it out with an insane 2v1 that happened in that last game. So let's see what happens here with Hysen still holding on to this very well, like you said, getting some decent damage on, but he cannot afford to take pretty much any neutral lights that'll send him packing.
Red team has to be so careful as well. Hysen's doing a pretty good job here. That side air is from the middle of the stage, not close enough to the blast zone, but the weapon toss from Spyrox, those gauntlets hitting, and you saw it. They moved straight into this next one, ready to go.
They wasted absolutely no time whatsoever trying to pull up the stats over here. Hysen putting on 677 damage, still on the miss of that, but I'm taking a quick look over at to Simple. Compared to everyone else, you know, everybody plus 500, but Simple only 367 damage done in that game. That is a huge mark that you have to solve here as you get into game number 2, because you everyone else did pretty much double what you did in the last game.
I wonder if we're going to see the possible legend swap coming out from Simple. Now, I'm looked a little bit more at his legends, and his highest leveled Lance legend is not the Ulgrim, it's actually a Scarlet, but his Ulgrim was level 39, the Scarlet is level 42, so not that much higher for his highest leveled Lance legend. And we look at Lance legends because he's spending most of his time on the Lance. That seems to be his complete focus with this Ulgrim pick rather than the Axe.
I think that seems to be one of those things. It's like, okay, if I'm going to pick up something for this right now, what's one of the best ways Hysen could react to team combos and like understanding a game plan? Ulgrim is going to be one of those main picks, so it makes it easier for your team to line up with. Well, he does find one there, and they find another, so they answer back quickly by getting not just one, but two to start things off. Great answer from the last game.
And right there, you saw the perfect example of why Simple chose to do the gravity cancel down heavy rather than any other move that he possibly could have done in the game. It has all of those active frames. You saw it happening for an extended period of time. It was like the final frames of it that actually made contact. Without that, he would have had to have been much more perfect on his timing, which possibly leads to human error.
Like you said, yeah, you want to remove as much error as possible. Simplicity is key, simplifying the game, but that is going to be a knockout off the top. Spyrox has been an absolute monster so far at twos, not only dealing with Simple before, but now shifting target over to Hysen. Definitely a big problem, but he does have a lot of damage on him so far, Sparky.
Yeah, this game is really starting to favor the blue team quite a bit here. You see both of them in yellow compared to the orange on Koko and the red on Spyrox. Now we're seeing really what I would have expected once we move past that like game 1, that warm-up period, as they're sort of feeling each other out. But it's not completely over, not even by a long shot, as we see 3 stocks to 4, the 4 belonging to Hysen and Simple. Koko on the edge. The side air from Hysen sends him flying as Koko's in the red. Hysen's not going to choose to confirm that KO, wants to come and put pressure onto Spyrox alongside Simple, but Simple's getting sent pretty far as well. He's also in the red.
Yeah, so luckily for Hysen so far, he hasn't really needed to worry about that. He's been setting the DPS, whereas the closer has been Simple, constantly closing out all these stocks. However, going to take a side air and get knocked out himself. Koko almost getting 2 in the midst of that. Koko playing incredibly well. He is going to, in fact, get 2. That now shifts things a little bit. Not that great because there's still a lot of damage on Spyrox. Spyrox all the way off stage. They might close this out. Simple might fall already. He does not get the save. What an insane play from Spyrox. So damaged to completely shift the whole focus of this game.
It went from 3 stocks to 4. Like the last time I spoke, which wasn't that long ago, was 3 stocks to 4. Now all of a sudden it's 3 stocks to 1, and the 1 belongs to Hysen and Simple, who had the 4 before, but oh my goodness, they just completely turned this one around so quickly.
That's insane. Simple was carrying like this second game here in terms of knockouts, and they had win condition on deck. They had Spyrox already deep in the red. They just needed to get one good team combo, and boom. Next thing you know, Spyrox says, what if I continue what I did last game, remembering that Simple has refused to leave me any tips for my service, and completely just maul him at, I think he was barely above the yellow mark when he first got hit.
Yep.
That was an incredible play.
Hysen stuck over on the wall. Koko again hits a second chainsaw. That is not normally a move we see making connections with players. In fact, we saw some Ulgrims yesterday, and I feel like the only chainsaw we saw make connection was the one that hit Tiger from his teammate. That was
so
actually set up as a bait. So that was on purpose that one ended up hitting. But Koko is making them happen here. 502 damage from Koko, and I believe it was 515 coming out from Spyrox. So they're splitting that one like right down the middle, completely splitting the responsibilities between the two. No carry, no person being carried, nothing of that whatsoever. They're both sharing the load, which makes that's how you go far.
Yeah, our number 5 seed of this tournament so far, playing like number 1. They are playing phenomenally. Their team communication is been immaculate. They have almost 3. Actually, no, it's only 200. 200 damage over, but still, that whole thing shifted from the clutch factor of Spyrox at the end. Because, can't say it enough, that was a complete shift for Simple. That's what they needed to get that game. That was, it was at a point where it was almost feeling like their game to lose, as long as they didn't overextend. And then there was just that incredible play that changed everything. So I still don't think that Hysen and Simple are going to fall just yet, but they got some work to do.
I think that definitely, that game could have been a momentum shift. We didn't really get a chance to point out the graph before they moved on in this one, but Simple's final stock, you almost can't see it. Like, it's so skinny, you almost can't see it. If you turned it sideways, it would disappear. If it tried to hide behind a stop sign, it would be able to, because that's how thin it is.
Bro, that's a Vienna sausage. Like,
Yeah.
it's like literally
that's a little
nothing
baby
on there. Like, my goodness. And the crazy part is, like, how early that was in that third stock, looking at that graph as well. So that's going to change a whole lot here in this, but everybody deep in the red. Tone setter is going to come through already as Spyrox gets the slide cancel desync and sends him packing.
Hysen was stuck without a weapon. He was at the weapon disadvantage. He was also over on the wall, so he was really at stage disadvantage. He was in the he wasn't in the power position because Spyrox was. Spyrox is going to pick up a second KO here, now getting the full team wipe before either player fell on the red team. We see Koko now has the axe in his hand, but if we saw the damage numbers from last game, it was like 95% on that lance. It was double digits on the axe, of course, triple digits on the lance. That's no surprise.
Let's see if we can keep that same sentiment going right now. But Hysen already in the orange. They do make them fall, but Hysen took a lot of damage in the midst of that. We also, I just actually recognized for this entire time that Simple did switch over onto the Val. So we have double Val going right here. I still, the crazy part is I don't even feel like that was really the main issue. It was just the clutch factor of the red team. But it's looking like red team has complete dominance now. Recovery won't be enough to send Hysen away, but they're putting damage on fast.
I think you're exactly right. I think it was really a skill difference when it came down to it for that specific game. But changing things up, I think, is not a bad idea whatsoever, especially when you're down 0-2. The Olgrim didn't really do what they wanted it to do, so swapping over from Simple onto this more familiar legend pick that we've seen, of course, him play throughout his career in tournaments, on the rank leaderboard, so on and so forth. So I think the swap at this time was definitely good. We'll see if it plays out for them. The big outlier here is Koko, who is on his second stock compared to everyone else on final.
Spyrox is constantly winning against Simple. Koko is surviving as long as he needs to. Hysen has been getting hit a lot. That is a lot. They shifted focus real quick, realizing, oh, Hysen's not doing anything, so let's go ahead and just jump Simple really quick while he's not ready, and they get a breakup at least with that dare from Simple, like shortening the combo, but he still got hit again.
Koko is going crazy right now. He's hitting these sidelight nairs. Of course, that's going to be a Lance true combo for the damage, but that time he does something a little bit different. Goes for the sidelight side air. D-Light side air. Koko wasn't in the right spot to follow up, but it was completely not needed whatsoever. They take that one, and that one almost looked easy for them.
That was such a different story than I was kind of expecting going into this. This team, Hysen and Simple, the one that knocked Godly and Swada into the elimination side of bracket. They had moments, but those moments were outshined heavily by how great Koko and Spyrox were. Koko playing that tank role, not refusing to give up any stocks. And then even when Spyrox started to actually get, I'll say, quote-unquote, figured out, that was not really an issue because he still found knockouts. But that damage difference.
Duke is going to be right, and that's disgusting. I'm so mad. This it wasn't supposed to happen like this, Ajax.
You know,
this isn't
Duke is out there like dancing somewhere, right?
He's not even here.
Like, he's in the car just vibing.
This is